The new RERA rent index is out, freshly updated for the new year, 2016. Toby Young is a person who follows the index more closely than most of us for his propertyrights.ae website. He's back on the line. Toby, a happy new year. Good to talk to you again.
Happy New Year, Tim. Thanks for having me.
So look, headlines this morning about rents going down, they're falling. Is that the case?
Yes, rents are falling, but that is more to do with the economics within Dubai and the UAE at the moment, as opposed to the RERA rent index.
Okay, so where are the biggest falls? What are we seeing as potential bargains if you're looking for a new place to stay?
Right, yes. I mean, there seems to have been falls across most of Dubai. There's only select areas that have seen slight increases. What we've seen is a narrowing of the bands. There's an upper band and a lower band on the RERA rent calculator, and from that, the average is derived for each area.
Right.
We're seeing drops in International City across the board, one-bedroom apartments all the way through. The same can be said in Jumeirah Village as well, whilst also seeing drops in the Marina, JLT and downtown for 1- and 2-bed apartments. Slightly bigger apartments are also seeing drops. On the villa side of things, again, the bands have been lowered. The drops aren't as marked as sort of on the apartment side of things, but you are seeing a minimum drop of around 2.5% across most areas.
Welcome news for most people, I suppose. Well, whereabouts are the rents across Dubai holding or increasing?
We're seeing increases in downtown Dubai and in Business Bay, about an average of 2.5% there for one-bedrooms. But above that, 2 bedrooms, 3 and 4 bedroom apartments are actually seeing small decreases as well.
You watch the market pretty closely. Your site is all about watching what the index does and what happens in property and the rights that we have. But were there any surprises here for you? Pretty much, was it run-of-the-mill? Did you expect this?
I think it was as expected to a certain extent. There were rumours that there would be additional changes to the index. We haven't seen them come through this year, but there's no reason to say that they won't be updated next year with extra criteria put in, maybe to separate apartments, have access to gyms or swimming pools, whereas others don't.
Can I talk to you about changes to the index? I mean, we've been talking about that internally here, how the index works, how it can grow. We know that it's now just an annually updated thing. I mean, I live in a reasonably old villa. It's probably 20 years old, I suppose. So in theory, that's not worth the same as a new villa in the same area, particularly if a new compound has better facilities, amenities, a bigger pool, whatever. And that's a common complaint with the RERA index.
Yes, no, absolutely. That's understandable. One of the things is that the RERA rent index is a one-size-fits-all solution. It's not ideal, but to sum it up, it takes you back to your school days where you have to draw a line through a lot of dots on a graph. You've got to find the line of best fit, and that's what RERA have done with their index at the moment. As I said, there is talk of them updating it to maybe look at the age of villas or apartments and buildings, the facilities available, the square footage. Again, why should someone be classed in the same rent bracket if they live in 800 square foot to someone else that lives in 2,500 square foot? But it is there, and as I said, it's not the ideal solution, but it works and it serves its purpose. The idea is to make sure everybody knows where they stand at all times. With a reduction to publishing it once a year, although that's seen as a negative effect of the index, people are beginning to realise that as of yesterday, and of course today and going forward, everybody knows what their rent increase could be going forward for the whole of 2016. It certainly allows for some greater planning than it did before.
What about next year if we do see the downturn that lots of people are predicting in 2016? I suppose one way of looking at this is that the 2017 index in the first few days of January next year could be better news again.
Absolutely, absolutely. If the price declines continue on the rental side, we will see the same sort of move downwards in the index this time next year. What we're looking at is seeing how many people are coming to Dubai. At the moment, there isn't the same influx of people as there had been over the previous years. Therefore, demand is slightly lower, and I think that will actually have the impact on prices as time goes by. As more properties are released onto the market, there's obviously more investors that want to fill those properties. And the longer that property remains empty, the less of investment it is. So on that basis, to get people in, prices will have to come down. And I think we will slowly see them drift lower again. And I imagine that will happen throughout the year. There may be a slight uptick at the end of the year as people start positioning themselves for 2020. But again, that may not happen until later in 2017, early 2018.
Toby Young's the Managing Director of PropertyRights.ae. The new RERA rent index is out. That's what we know so far. Toby, good to talk to you. Thank you.
You too, Tim. Thank you very much.